Hello, Laziali all over the world. Welcome to another episode of Lazio Lounge, the team top of the table in the Europa League. Yes, I'm not joking. After 3 games, Lazio is top of the table in the Europa League. I don't remember last time this happened. I don't remember, honestly, last time Lazio went abroad and play against a Dutch team and win. This is quite surprising for our team. I'm joined by 2 guests. Unfortunately, there's Alistair McKenzie. Hello, Alistair.
Hello.
And we have a new friend. We have Simon. Simon, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, chaps, not used to see Lazio top of the table in the Europa League. Not used to see Lazio winning away games in Europa League. Is this all Baroni's miracle, or do you think this team is more focused than the other one in the Europa League? It looks like to me in the past that Immobile and so on weren't very focused in this competition, who we said here a lot of time, it's a very important competition for a team like Lazio, who's not Real Madrid, who won 9-10 Champions League, right? So it's good to see the effort even in a away game, right, Alistair? I want to start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's something they seemingly have made more of, even in the press conferences, trying to get Baroni talking about that and talking about the fact that the team can push more in Europe and, I don't know, try and inject a bit of enthusiasm into a competition where it's kind of been lacking, to be honest, for Lazio, understandably, in recent years. The away form was worse than I thought. I mean, I saw some statistics ahead of this game saying we'd lost, I think it was 17 of the last 30 games, not just in Europe, just in all competitions, which is pretty shocking. It does help when a goalkeeper is sent off after 10 minutes. We have to admit that. I mean, it was kind of the shoe on the other foot after the Juventus game of almost the mirror image of the match being played out. And I think that probably did help because as we'll get onto, it was still quite an awkward game. And I think if it was 11v11, it would have been a really big challenge. So got to be happy with it because 3 wins in a row. I think Inzaghi and Dino Zoff are the only Lazio coaches who have ever done that in Europe. So Baroni's finding himself in good company, which is all the more impressive if you consider it's his first ever European campaign. So good on him.
Simon?
No, it was a good match. It's the first time I've seen Lazio win in Holland for a long time. We usually find very loads of problems when we have to play against Dutch teams. In recent years against Feyenoord, and also we were kicked out of the Conference League. So it was good to see the personality, also the fact that once the Twente was in 10 with 10 men, they had the patience to build and didn't have so much of a frenzy to score as soon as possible, which was also good. Showed a good attitude towards the match, and this is considered to be the B team, but it isn't because it's the A2 team in a certain point of view. Most of the players could be playing without any problem substituting other players and usually play in Serie A. So it's good. It's good attitude. You can also, by hearing what the players say at the end of the match, they enjoy this attacking spirit that they have. They enjoy the fact that there are three up the front plus center forward. So that's a good thing. So the enjoyable part of the game is giving dividends.
One of the things I was more concerned of going to this game was, did Bashiru play in front of a defense and Gigot finally starting after 2 months at Lazio? I don't know if we can really rate Gigot performance because, as Alistair was mentioning, they went down 1 man after a couple of minutes. So that completely changed the game. But starting with Simon, what's your take on Dele Bashiru performance? Do you think he can play in that defensive mind position, or do you think it's more a trequartista type of player?
He is a very powerful player. You can see tends to use his power as much as physicality as much as possible. Yesterday wasn't exactly the best game to see if he has the qualities to play in midfield together with Rovella or Guendouzi, because the other team just basically fell back for 80 minutes and just went forward a little bit in the last 10 minutes. So he didn't have to he didn't have the trouble to have to break the opponent's attacks at any point, because they just stayed put basically for most of the match. So I don't think yesterday was an ideal match to see. The Italian commentators on Sky were very negative about him, but I thought he played relatively well. He was he had propositions. I mean, he tried to do something in the middle of the field, and I thought he did quite well.
Alistair, do you want to add something?
Yeah, well, I can maybe talk a bit about Gigot, who you mentioned there as well. With Deli Bashiro, I think, he did okay. I mean, I think he started quite poorly, I think, and made a few mistakes early on. But I think as the game went on, he seemed to grow in confidence a bit, and that's probably it's quite understandable considering he's not played there before, and it's 11v10 away from home. Difficult atmosphere and all that. But Gigot, I mean, you said we can't really gauge him. I don't think we can defensively, but we can certainly measure other things about him, which is that he feels bold enough, despite not having played for 2 months, to try and score with a cucchiaio when he's through on goal. I don't even know why he was there in the first place. I mean, I love that kind of confidence. Simon mentioned personality within the team at the start. I think he showed plenty of that. I mean, I was quite impressed with his general demeanor on the pitch, because we've not seen anything of him, and he's obviously the newest of the new signings. But he seemed pretty confident, and maybe it's just what his personality is like. He seems like he felt like he belonged there. And I guess we'll get to see more him being tested more defensively as time goes on, but certainly looks like an asset, because this was something we were discussing in the last podcast, wasn't it, Vittorio? The lack of centre-back options, or the problem with the form of the centre-backs that we've got. So it's kind of welcome to see somebody who's coming in, and okay, too early to judge, but we can say probably from what we've seen that he looks like a real player and not somebody who was just brought in to make up the numbers.
Are you sure he was a central defender? It looked like me he was a right wing at a certain point. My son turned to me and said, "Where is he playing? What do you say? He's a central defender?" No, it's a right wing. I mean, he was always at a certain point. I don't know if you noticed. There was Romagnoli like shouting, "What the hell are you doing? Come back!"
Also, the fact that the other team were just so way back. I mean, it was just an invitation to go forward. And so, I mean, that's what he did. It was as if the Lazio played 3 behind.
Yeah.
When they used to play 3 behind, there used to be the one on the right and the one on the left. They used to attack like.
Acerbi loved it a lot.
Acerbi loved it a lot. And it seemed a bit like that also, and so that was interesting. But the guy, I mean, the guy's got loads of experience. He's played. He's played many years with Olympique Marseille, which is not an easy club to play for, with atmosphere and etc. in Marseille. So now he comes to Rome, and he knows Guendouzi, he knows Nuno Tavares. So I mean, it's easy also for him to fit in. And we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. I mean,
Alistair, there was another player yesterday with a little bit of experience who had a nice impact. Pedro. I mean, he's 37 years old. What is he doing? I mean, what a game yesterday, right?
Well, I read last night that he's got 3 goals and 1 assist this season, and apparently that's as many as he'd got in all of his previous Lazio appearances combined for the first 2 years, which is in 48 games or something. I've not double checked that, but it was Opta who wrote it, so I do believe it. I mean, it's unbelievable, this kind of second win to his career. I mean, he was someone we didn't really expect to stay at the end of last season, and he's not only just stayed, but he's playing the best football, or certainly the most consistently productive football that he has done the whole time in Rome. And also, yet another level of impressiveness about that, he was playing as a number 10 last night, which I can't recall him doing so far this season. So he's showing his versatility. He's showing his leadership. He, I think, is a big influence on this team in terms of injecting that kind of personality and enthusiasm around this style of football, because he's so full of energy, and everything he does seems to be kind of proactive, rather than, he's not the kind of player who gets on the ball and pivots and passes it all the way back to the goalkeeper. You know, he's someone who seems to always be wanting to make something happen, whether it's with his darting runs, his movement, or whether he's trying to link up with other players to get into space. I mean, so impressive, considering his age. We've always known he's got the ability, but time waits for no man, as they say. But apparently it's going to wait a bit longer for Pedro. I mean, apparently 1 more year is on the table soon. So at this rate, you have to give it to him, don't you?
Do you think so? Do you think you would sign him for another year, Simon? Or
Well, if he's playing like this, yes. If he's playing like last year, no. I think it's a matter also of it's a physical issue. Last year, from a physical point of view, they were all in trouble right from the start. We had terrible problems as far as getting to the end of the matches and not being as fast as we should be with Stari's game. And rumor has it that they didn't do very much from a physical point of view in the pre-season training. So that is this why Pedro's doing so well now, because they did a lot of physical stuff in the pre-season, which is fundamental for this type of game, because you have to follow the ball around all over the pitch, and also try to anticipate the opponent, try to take the ball away from them, and you need to be in good physical shape to be able to do that. Let's hope we continue like this until the end of the season, because that is at the moment the biggest question mark.
Yeah. Shall we talk about probably the most concerning thing about yesterday, Chauna performance? Again, he started first half. Pretty much he did only one thing, the back heel to Gigot, who missed a huge chance. We all expecting much more from him. Should we be more patient with the youngster, or do you think this season he's going to struggle and he's not coping with a completely change of atmosphere, pressure, and so on? Simon?
It's not easy to play in Rome. There's a lot of pressure. Also, we tend to be rather negative as supporters.
Absolutely.
So it's as soon as you get a couple of bad matches, oh, he's awful, terrible, not Serie A material, etc., etc. So I mean, they probably do feel the pressure and Chauna probably does feel the pressure when he has to come on. And I mean, he played well against in the first European game,
Dynamo Kiev, yeah.
Against Dynamo Kiev. He didn't play too badly either against on the wet pitch against Nice, but that was difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been difficult for any player. He doesn't have the experience yet, because I mean, he hasn't really played in any big clubs. In our experience, as we know, we need to have a bit of patience for him. He will be fundamental once he gets going, because he has the power, he has the ability to be able to change matches, and that is one thing which this team lacks a bit, is the madness that will invent something when in difficulty. And we got Pedro to score against Empoli before the sosta. So it's important that he is the one that probably will be the player that could invent something. So he needs to give him confidence, and he needs to play as much as possible. So it's good that he plays in Europe and give Isaacsen a rest. I mean, we criticize Isaacsen now, so it's either him or Isaacsen. So we just what we have.
Yeah, Noslin unfortunately got a 3-match suspension in Europe, which is a disgrace because we needed him. Alistair, Isaacsen came in and scored. He's 2 goals in 43 minutes in the Europe League. I mean, not a bad average, right?
And one for Denmark as well. Yeah, and I think if you're looking at Chelna, he can probably look at Isaacsen, and those are 2 guys who I guess can empathize with one another, because both coming to Lazio at a young age, like Simon said, it's not an easy place to come in and settle immediately, especially if there's a lot of pressure and expectation on you. But we have to remember how young this guy is. I mean, 20 years old, Chelna, I think. Yes, okay, it's different from Isaacsen in that he was coming from Serie A, but it is different coming from a Salernitana team that's just been absolutely battered all season to then coming and playing super attacking football for Lazio. But yeah, Isaacsen, it's a nice little competition there on the right wing, but you kind of we've been crying out for him to show us a bit of consistency and a bit more productivity in front of goal. And I think it looks like he's starting to do a bit of that. It'd be nice for him to get a run of starting a few games in a row and being the guy, because I guess this is the thing with Isaacsen, is that he's had some performances that have been better than others, and he's had the odd goal in a Lazio shirt. But it's been rare where you've been like, this is the match that Isaacsen has lit up. This is a match that Isaacsen is the man of the match, that he has shown that he can be the star quality. And I feel like he needs to come out of his shell a bit and gain a bit of that kind of Gigot confidence, get some of that personality that to feel like he is the man. And that you can understand why that was difficult in his first year, certainly, where he's got Sarri coaching him and he's got Luis Alberto and Immobile and Felipe Anderson around him. But now I think he can feel like that he can feel more confidence that he can be that guy. I just think that needs to grow inside him a bit before we see the best of him. That's how I feel about it. But certainly more positive start to this year than the way he ended last year. Yeah.
I saw him speak yesterday after the match, and his Italian is improving, and that helps a lot in communication. And I also think it's not easy to get into Sarri's football when you're young and you're not used to all this tactical stuff. And even Pellegrini yesterday also said he's now finding himself a little bit more. He's now playing better, probably because there was a lot of tactical stuff, and it's not that simple for players who are not used to this type of football. So now things are more simpler. That it's more enjoyable. They have to think a little bit less about defending and placing. So everybody is enjoying Baroni's football, and so this is why we're doing fairly well at the moment.
Yeah, it's incredible. In 1 year, Isaacsen is speaking Italian much better than Alistair. It's unacceptable. We are laughing and joking, but we have to mention something. I did a video this morning on my YouTube channel, and I want to hear your opinion. If Twente doesn't get the stadium closed in the next European League, then UEFA is a joke. We remember next game, Lazio Porto, the Curva Nord will be closed because of 20 idiots. Yesterday, something terrible happened in the last minutes of the game and forced Baroni to sub Ciauna, who was so angry about what happened with the Twente fans, that if UEFA is serious fighting racism, the stadium must be shut down. I don't know what you think about this, but this is my opinion. And we have to prove to be not only against Lazio and really fighting racism. Do you agree with me, Simon?
Absolutely. It's we seem to have a bad reputation all round, and so as a consequence, whenever we go away, we have the police take special precautions for us, just like the other evening when all Lazio fans were unable to leave their hotel, and there were police outside the various hotels stopping Lazio fans to get into the city. That is not exactly the best way to deal with these things. 20 idiots put their hands up in the air, and another 2,000 have to pay the consequences. That also is fairly not exactly the best way to approach these things. I do hope that the UEFA people that were there did hear the racist chants. They probably didn't, because when it comes to Lazio, their ears are picked up, and they also have people on the pitch listening to what we do. We got to see if they do the same with other clubs as well. Let's hope so.
Alistair, do you want to add something?
Well, I mean, it seems like it was pretty clear. I mean, I wasn't there, none of us were there, but from how everyone's reacted to it, and even the pictures of Chouna on the pitch talking to the referee, pointing to his ears, saying, "Are you not hearing this?" You would have thought there are plenty of witnesses to what happened. And yeah, you're right, Vittorio, in the sense that it should be one punishment for everyone. I do think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the reason for the Curva closure was actually because Lazio already had a suspended stadium ban, so running over from Celtic game a year and a half ago or so. So that punishment was because it was a second offence. It wasn't just a one-off thing.
And the banner against the German police as well.
Right. So, like, I mean, obviously, there is completely unacceptable for any of these things to happen. And in terms of the attitude towards Lazio, I'm afraid that I still think that the club needs to be a lot stronger against the people who are doing this and ruining the reputation of the club, and look at their own issues as well to try and sort that out, because it is damaging the club's reputation all the time. In this case, it wasn't Lazio fans who are at fault, but when you're talking about the closure from last time, it was.
Yeah, but it's the second away international game that something happened. In Germany, fans were arrested for a night. In Netherlands, even journalists couldn't get out of the hotel. So this is simply not acceptable. I mean, if someone did something wrong, get that guy, arrest him, do whatever you want, but you cannot force everyone else to pay the price for an idiot, two idiots, etc. This is simply negligence from the police. So it's unacceptable.
And nowadays, I mean, you've got the cameras inside the stadiums. They can count the number of hairs on your head. So, I mean, it's easy to identify. I don't have so many. It's easy to pick out people and to figure and to see who they are. I mean, it's pretty simple. It should be pretty simple, and so you should arrest them, DASPO them, so that they don't come to the stadium anymore, or get them to come into the police and sign during the football games and things like that. I mean, there are loads of possibilities to stop people from entering the game if they've done something that they shouldn't do. But nowadays, this things is a little bit difficult. It doesn't really happen so often.
No,
or at least not as much as it should happen.
No, I agree. To change a little bit subject, Alistair, where did Patrick play last night? Told you.
Are you feeling smug today?
Mediano. It's coming. It's coming.
Well, I'm not sure it's something we should be particularly excited about, to be honest.
I mean, we don't have option. He's the next one up. Come on. With Guendouzi resting, Patrick is our best option as Mediano. Let's be honest.
Patrick does have the skills.
For me,
I remember when everybody was complaining about him. Everybody. I remember once he was the only one who tried to move the ball from one side of the pitch to the other in order to get the team a little bit more to find space and get them going. And he was the only one that would do something like that. So I think that even Gila could play midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, with Pedro, though, we have to remember he was when we signed him, he was basically a jolly, wasn't he? He played everywhere. He played as a wing back and as a full back, and as a centre back came quite late to him actually, because I remember when he first moved there, we were a bit surprised that he was being used as a centre back. So yeah, he's a guy who I think, especially if you come through La Masia and the kind of the Barcelona system, you're kind of supposed to be good at everything technically, aren't you? So I don't see why not. I'm just upset really because my Bastos for striker campaign never happened after like 2 years of asking, and then you ask for Patrick as Mediano and it happens within about 3 weeks.
Because you can see the skill. You can see the skill. I mean, Patrick is going to finish there, I think. When he's going to lose some pace, he's going to advance and play in front of the defense. He can move the ball. He can understand where he has to play. And I think that's a valid option. The alarm just, I'm sorry if it's annoying, but it's here in front of me.
You got thieves in your house.
Yeah, probably.
Patrick is also the player that has been here longest as well. He's been here for a long, long time, even though in some years he didn't play too much. But he's not a classic defender. He's a defender of today's defender who can also play the ball. He and Anguilla are the best. As we haven't seen Guijo play in that role yet, but they are the best to feed the midfield from behind. And why not? I don't think Baroni will ever try that. It's more likely that he'll move Dele Bashir or somebody else back.
Talking about defense and talking about Sunday, we are playing Genoa at 3 o'clock, so there's not much time to recover the fatigue of yesterday's game. With Romagnoli suspended, who would you start? Would you give another start to Gigot, or would you play Patrick Gila there, central defenders? Alistair?
I'd probably stick with Gigot, actually. I mean, I think it'd be nice to test him
in a real game.
Yeah, but as far as Serie A games go, Genoa at home is probably as nice as they get right now. He says, well, cursing his team.
You forget all the Lazio Genoa games? I mean, last year we lost.
I know. But yeah, I think the one thing Genoa have really struggled with is scoring goals, because they lost Gudmundsson and Retegui in the same summer and never really replaced them. And obviously, Pinamonti kind of single-handedly got them a draw against Bologna last time. But yeah, I think I would just like to see him get another chance, because he looks confident. I think it's almost perfect yesterday. Clean sheet, settling into the team against 10 men. So hopefully not overconfident, and he doesn't spend the whole game on the right wing. But yeah, I'm not against him getting another opportunity.
Now we know that if Pinamonti scores a few goals on Sunday, we know who to blame.
Yeah, you're new to the podcast, but not to the ideas of the podcast.
I don't think Guijo has another 90 minutes immediately after this night. After 5 months not playing, he then plays 90 minutes and then another 90 minutes. I think he will most probably be playing in midweek, or come on, or maybe he will start and then come off after 45 minutes. I mean, neither Patrick nor but they played a little bit yesterday, but they didn't play a lot, so they will probably be the starters on Sunday, with maybe Guichot coming in the second half. But it all depends on physically how he is after not having played for so long.
Anyway, guys, before we wrap it up, how surprised are you to see Lazio top of the table in the Europa League with a new manager, with zero experience, with a team that we can say is worse than last year, is much younger, but I mean, you don't have Ciro Immobile, you don't have Luis Alberto, Felipe Anderson is missing, etc. Is it a huge surprise, or this summer you were thinking, well, we made some good signing, this is a manager who had a good season last year, so I'm looking forward to the next season?
For me, it is a big surprise how well we're doing in Europe. I think if you look at the fixtures, you will find people who say, okay, you've won 3 games, but they're all games you should win. But I don't think that's necessarily fair, especially if you consider Lazio's history in the Europa League and in the Europa League group stage of the results we've failed to get in the past against worse teams than the ones we've been beating so far here. And not just to be winning all 3 games, which only 3 of these 36 teams have managed to do, but doing so with the best goal difference of all of them is hugely impressive. Because like I said right at the start, the biggest doubt we had before the season started around Europe was Baroni's ability to work out how to manage the squad properly, because it is quite a thin squad. That's why we have ended up with Patrick in midfield. It is quite a thin squad. When he's having to rotate, there's a lot of kind of players in there who aren't guarantees. We've just been talking about Gigot and Chauna and Deli Bashiru and guys like this. It's a difficult thing for him to do. So I think Baroni deserves a lot of credit, not just for the way he's selected the team and set them up, but the way he's managed to keep them focused and motivated in these matches, because that's something the Lazio have completely lacked in the past. So, yeah. Really surprised.
I would just add that we beat Dinamo Kiev 3-0 and everybody said, it's an easy team. What happened to Roma yesterday? I mean, they played at home against Dinamo Kiev and won just for a penalty. So, it's never easy beating this team, right, Simon?
No, Europe is always there's a big question mark, because you can, yesterday at a certain point, 10 minutes from the end, it seemed as if we ran out of gas. And they were attacking, and it was a problem. I mean, we could all see a nightmare coming towards us, and then in the end, actually, it was the best thing, because they found enough space to score the second. I was more optimist as far as Baroni was concerned, because everybody spoke very highly of him. Sarri spoke highly of him. His former players, other managers, commentators, and we can complain about Lotito until the cows come home, but he has made only one mistake as far as manager is concerned in 20 years. So and that was Ballardini, and all the other managers were all performed fairly well, at least in their first year. Then maybe Pioli and Pektovic in their second one all that good, but in the end, Pioli won a Scudetto with Milan. Pektovic was manager for Switzerland. So they were all, even though they were unknown at the time, they were all quite good. So I was a bit more optimistic as far as Baroni was concerned, and the players. We just have to wait and see if it could work. It could work out, but they also could be flops. This was up to the manager to find the right combination, and I think the 4-2-3-1 is an excellent system for this team.
Thanks, Simon, for joining us. Thanks, Alistair. I know you're busy. You have to go. I hope to have you back on Monday, when we're going to talk about Lazio Genoa. And Alistair, if we lose, don't show up, please. Thanks, everybody.
Especially if Pinamonti scores.
Yeah, and hat-trick. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Remember, rate and review the podcast. And if you want to support us, patreon.com/Lazio Lounge. Take care, guys.
Cheers.